Yeah, so we're back, and thank you very much for staying tuned with us. It's still the best sporting show, and we'll be talking about no other person apart from the English Premier League and all the leagues across Europe right now. It's it's getting the is about to go down. That's how they say it. That's how the band will say it's about to go down, and it's going down right now. In the Premier League, like we said before, everybody has like the best um start to their league. Arsenal with their best start to the league in 135 years. Spurs, we know they are not going to win anything in their life, but this is their best league start ever in their history. And Manchester City, sorry, not United, Manchester City with Pep Guardiola, this is their best start in 5 years. Just goes to show you how wonderfully Arsenal has performed going into this season, which is honestly, I don't want to say so. I don't want to put too much to it, but they've done pretty well for themselves. And um, I don't have a choice but to agree with Kachi and every other person that now Arsenal are title contenders for the league. I can't hide away from that fact again. It's left for them now to
To blow it.
own up, exactly, to own up and show us that, man, we are there and we have to do that needs to be done. Anyways, we'll start with the games in England right now, and I'm looking for where to start from. I'm going to start from the United versus Fulham. Everybody expected this game to be difficult for United, and it was indeed difficult for United. United could have got a couple of goals in the first half. They did not take their chances, which is unfortunately bad and put a lot of pressure on them. But in the second half, they came back. Looks like a good team or a better team, so to speak. But we're lucky to get the win on a normal day. Like someone said if Mitrovic was playing, probably United wouldn't have won the game in the long run because Fulham would have scored one or two goals themselves. And someone said William was prime Ronaldinho today. Olawale, I'm going to start with you with this one. Do we still have alarm bells at Old Trafford right now? Or we should calm down a little bit and like, okay, let's roll with the flow. This is still a transition. And how well is the transition going? I think that would be the question. That would
Well,
be the ultimate question and the right question.
I don't know
How
whether
well is the
because
transition
I don't
going?
know I don't know whether because I'm probably a little bit sentimental in favor of Ten Hag, but I think it's been pretty going on well for United. I think the problem about United team present at this season that I have observed is this: they are not able to produce that good performance for 90 minutes.
Consistently.
Now,
Mm,
one of the reasons to that, like you rightly stated in this game and in some other games, is this: sometimes when they take the lead, when you have some couple of chances to probably ease the pressure on yourself, they don't do that. I think they need to become very clinical, and that is where a reliable center forward, becomes a priority for them in January, or what do you call it? Because there is something does for you when you score, when you have like if you have a one goal lead, you score in the
yeah.
first half, you are playing better. As long as it is still a 1-0 1-0 margin, getting towards the end of the game, you become G3. Your opponent
J3, exactly.
starts believing that they could do it. But there's something when you are very clinical. If you take a 2-3-0 lead in the first half, or let me say early part of the second half, there's a way
Uh-huh.
goals tends to kill the morale of your opponent.
The moral of the opponent, exactly.
And so that aside, but again, that still doesn't excuse them from the fact that they are still not the team can you could see like the image of the coach in the team for like, let me say, 40 minutes. It might not be a stretch, it could be at different point in time, but the next step for them is getting more clinical
Yeah.
and able to sustain, because the difference between let me say Man City and majority of Man City, Liverpool that we've seen in the past few years from the
Yeah.
other one is they can maintain that their top level for
For
90 minutes
extended period of time.
consistently. So I think for me, that's the next. And the good thing is with the with this Ganacho becoming a revelation now, he's having options. He's having options now around to play around with, which is something you want a coach to have, especially a coach
exactly.
who is rebuilding.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's just it for United.
All right, perfect. Kachi, I'm gonna come to you, and I don't know if Kachi is available. If he is,
Very
this question is
available,
for
very
you.
much available.
Manchester City lost surprisingly to an Aventoni Brace on Saturday, and one thing I noticed, City were just City. There was nothing that could be done differently, if you ask me. But the crowd at the Etihad Stadium, it looks like I don't know. Are they a bunch of rich people or people who are at the blue side of Manchester are not football loving people? They don't carry the team. And I know Guardiola has been hammering on this for quite some time. Like, you guys
The
need to
energy
help
doesn't
us.
reflect as it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't give them that energy that
But
they
this is
needed.
even fair. Champions League night is worse. There is
Please finish your question. I have an interesting take, an interesting position on that. I think it's because
my question.
That club and their set of fans have been so much used to underperforming. Exactly. So they are so much used to mediocrity that this 5-year tenure with Pep Guardiola still feels like a dream. It feels like a dream. They've not come to accept it. It shows that everything there is not organic but plastic. It's like seeing a beautiful lady, but who has gone to do several surgeries to look the way she looks. Personally, she knows that the outside world will say, "Oh my word, this is beautiful," but this lady knows that is the knife, is the surgeon's knife that has done it. Everything does not look organic right now, and I think the fans know it. When they've stayed there, they've been relegated more times than ever. They've underperformed even before the money came in, so that they're pretty much saying the day UEFA or FIFA or the regulators sit up and close the tap to this wealth we have, what becomes of our team? And I think that
you are throwing shit at the blue side of London.
Unfortunately, I have to do so because the fans they have right now are disgruntled Arsenal fans and not native, organic Manchester City fans.
Okay, all right.
Something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think if you look at this, especially if you watch most City games, I don't know if have you observed atmospheres in Champions League nights.
There was.
As in,
okay. Across
Anfield,
Europe,
Anfield is something else on Champions League night.
Anfield is the best.
When Old Trafford wants to be on top of it on Champions League nights, you notice it. And across Europe, there is that feel. You know that this is a night game. It's different. Most times when you watch City games in Champions League, now it seems you are watching one League One game. Everything looks silent. For me, I think the last part of Kachi thing is what I would take, that is not organic, in the sense that the fans, I don't think they have those kind of crazy fans, and I think it takes a little bit of long time. For establish those kind of things. I remember there was a time Jose Mourinho complained that he wasn't really hearing that support, that voice from the Chelsea fans. Somebody now said, those guys who can make those noise, you are pricing them out with the high ticket price. You understand? I think those kind of guys are the kind of, I think it will take City a long time. They will need to get to that level of success, because United already controls that city. That's the truth. It's just like you comparing Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks. They will tell you that Brooklyn Nets games, their ticket price is even going on auction just to get people to come and watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching us, one of these days we will be broadcasting live from the Barclays Center, simply because a Brooklyn Nets home game ticket sells for as low as $21. We will be there with our green screen and we will let you know how it looks like.
So I think that's the issue.
Tolu
They are
is
in a
saying,
city.
Tolu is saying, no motivation. They only care about the UEFA Champions League and they are tired of the league. While Baba Tokpa is saying, I don't even care what happened to City. I just want United back at their rightful position. Anyways, going forward, Bournemouth defeated everything surprisingly. That was not the gist. That was not the total gist. But the fact that Alex Iwobi took off his jersey to give to one of the fans after the game and he threw the jersey right back at Alex Iwobi that we don't want you to give us jersey, give us performances. That's what we require of you. And of course, Liverpool versus Southampton ended 3-1 in favor of Liverpool with Daniel Nunes scoring a brace. Kachi, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to call for your juggernaut on this one. And I want you to answer as best as you can for this one. At the start of the season, after his red card against Fulham, people begin to criticize Daniel Nunes. It's not good enough, was a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. But this kid has gone a very good patch right now. He's scoring goals right now. And we can't deny the fact that he has played about 600 minutes less than Gabriel Jesus right now. And he's on the same goal tally with Gabriel Jesus right now, if not more. So that goes to show you, are we going to say now we have to be factual and say this guy is not a waste, is not a flop at this point and give him more time? Because everybody is comparing him with the incredible season Haaland is having. I think that's where the problem is coming.
Yeah, and that's very honest that's where the problem is coming. There were two high-profile signings coming to two largely successful teams, at least in the last 3 years. Would everyone expected to compete neck and neck for the English Premier League title? Now, he did not hit the ground running like Haaland, but every criticism we were getting, if we really are very objective and honest about this, were criticisms coming outside of Liverpool and not within the Liverpool ranks. Jurgen Klopp, the grandmaster, had come out to say, give this guy time. And I think the Liverpool faithful were patient because they have seen this happen in the past. Ian Rush did not hit the ground running. Suarez also had a troubled first 2-3 games, I believe, before he hit the ground running. And he took that advice. Suarez was one of the people who reached out to him to say, don't be as dumb as I was and let your game do the talking. Now, credit to the young man for not coming out to also talk during that period. He put his head down. He worked hard. Everyone does. What people don't understand is that the English Premier League is frenetic. And the only reason why Haaland seemed to be successful is that Haaland is the quintessential. If you want to build a player from scratch, collecting things, that's it. What kind of player will succeed in England? It is Erling Haaland. He is built for the game, whether you play possession football or you are going to play the old Barclays Premier League kick and follow. Erling Haaland will play it for you. Darwin Núñez had to bide his time. He has done that. He was coming into a team where it's the style of play revolved around a certain Mohamed Salah and other unselfish players around him. So now trying to earn the respect of Salah, because right now Salah still does not give Núñez the right passes. Let's call it spade what it is. But Núñez, credit to him, has put his head down and is working hard. But I also need to say that all that criticism was not coming from Liverpool. It was coming from guys like you and I. So big credits to Núñez for what he's doing. Right,
because honestly, I think we should be comparing Núñez with Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus he plays a different role for Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus will not get to 15 goals.
Gabriel Jesus does not understand his role in Arsenal. He does not understand.
I think he understands. I think he understands it so much that he is sacrificing his own personal excellence and record.
That's not what Arsenal needed.
I think Gabriel Jesus is.
We'll get to Gabriel Jesus and I will ask you that question. Don't worry, we'll get to Jesus. Yeah.
Okay. If you check his map on the pitch, he stays too much.
To
He
the
spent
on
much
the
time
left.
on, let me say, much on the left side of the attack.
On the
I
left,
want to
yes.
see him much more around the
He,
box.
he,
And
he
I
does
think
not understand
because
his role very well.
yeah, I
He's playing
think
as if he's a first nine.
yes,
That's
exactly.
that's
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
He's playing like
He's
he's a
spending
first
too
nine.
much time on the left side. And for me, for the what do you call Nunez, I just think
Nunes.
it's a matter of you can, of course, you can say probably he has the same number of goals with Gabriel Jesus or something, but I still think Gabriel Jesus has performed better than him. Nunes is erratic, yes, of course. The way Liverpool team has performed,
it's also erratic.
has probably
He has not
affected him.
helped. Yeah,
That early red card against, was it Crystal Palace?
exactly.
No,
Yeah,
Made things
against Fulham.
Fulham.
worse for him. But he still has a little one or two things in his game that he needs to work on. The touches, the
Exactly.
decision making,
Yeah,
Of
one hundred
course, it
percent.
looks it looks like it's very versatile because in the last few games you've seen him operating probably from the left and drifting in. That road doesn't look straight to him, so
It
it
does
looks
not.
like a great
Yeah,
talent.
I
It's
think
just
I
that
think
sometimes
we discussed that
contest,
before Liverpool bought in.
yeah,
That he
I
can
think
play as a
contest is the
supporting
major
striker
thing. I think
on the left hand
the
side.
fee. I think the fee is one of the things that is probably making
Is
people to like.
affecting
When you 80 million pounds, you just expect a lot of things from him. I think Liverpool
from him.
performance have not really helped him too. But it seems to be like
All
he's
right,
a kind of
perfect.
guy that can just score 5 goals in a game.
Yeah, and of course, Nottingham Forest continue their run back to revival with a 1-0 defeat of Crystal Palace. To the game of the weekend, that would be Tottenham Hotspur against Leeds United. The same thing that Leeds did to Bournemouth last week was the same thing that Tottenham Hotspur did to them, with Bentancur scoring two late winners to win 4-3. To win 4-3 in favor of the white side of London. Leicester City continued their run, defeating West Ham 2-0, while Newcastle defeated Chelsea 1-0. And this is the problem. And I think Todd Bowley needs to open the check this January and spend as much as 200 million pounds before we start. Because now it looks Chelsea does not have. Someone noted it down. I think it was Tim Sherwood. He said Chelsea does not have identity. They don't have philosophy. It's iron and fire. There's no process. There's no process flow. So if you're not getting the result at Chelsea, you're gone. And the last 5 managers that Chelsea have had, none of them lost 3 games in a row, and they were all fired. None of them left by their own volition. This is a worrying sign for Graham Potter. Is it a problem of personnel? I've never agreed with the problem of personnel.
But I've always insist. I've been telling you this thing a long time ago that
yeah, you
there's
said
a
it's a
problem
problem of
about like now. Okay, let me
personnel.
see. Let me pick it up from there.
Okay.
I think Todd Bowley made some big errors.
Okay.
I personally, I think I was not on the show the weekend. Thomas Tuchel was sacked. I don't think Thomas Tuchel was sacked because of those late results. I think it was deeper than that. It is more
Yeah,
of
I said
somebody
it was
wanting.
different. Yeah, I said
I
difference
think
of
it was somebody
philosophy.
wanting to have control over his club, and I think Todd
Yeah.
Bowley probably really wanted to have Cristiano Ronaldo in his team that time, and even though I think he succumbs to Tuchel's advice of not getting him there, I'm not sure he was too comfortable. This is the thing. This is the problem with sacking Thomas Tuchel. Then you spent almost I'm not sure, almost 250 million pounds in transfer market for a manager. If you
Yeah.
look at bulk of those signings were defenders,
Defensive. Yeah.
defending Steve-minded players who are to fit into his beloved 3-5-2
Below
formation
3-5.
or
Yeah.
of 3-4, or is it 3-4-3? Now there's a new manager in town now, and that's packing defenders doesn't seem to work. So the new manager will need an extra money now to probably sign
To
at least 2 or 3 players
to
to
balance the
balance
team,
things
and
up.
yeah.
After you've already spent 250 million, if this is what you actually wanted, you could have
Why did
just
you leave?
allowed Tomo Tuchel to go
Could leave
and
in
allow
the first instance?
whoever coach you want to take then
Mm-hmm.
to start afresh and spend those money. I'm sure if Graham Potter had access to all those money, I'm sure probably would have spent it differently.
Exactly, 100%.
I'm sure he could have spent it differently. So now the challenge is, can you match what the city owners do? Even when the sign it doesn't work, they don't mind bringing the checkbook out. Can you match the desire of an Abramovich who sees this club more like a toy? What do you want? Let me do this. I'm sure Chelsea fans will have there will be a little bit of let me as in the signings won't, the spending will not be like the Abramovich era. There will be some, like, because if you watch Graham Potter's interview from 3 days ago, he was saying something like he thinks they don't need to sign players in January. When you start seeing coaches saying something like that, he's already
that means
getting
the owners don't want
the
to give
owners
out the
is already
checkbook.
giving him a lot of people like, Oga, you don't have money to spend. And I think there's a bit of talent gap in that Chelsea's attack. Lukaku not scoring last season. I think we stated it. Lukaku not scoring last season, for me, Lukaku might have his own issue. I think is largely due
Due to lack
to
of service, quality
lack of
services.
service and the kind of players playing around him. When they are supposed to pass, they want to shoot. Just imagine Pulisic decision making last week when Abuma. The same thing that happened to, it was not the same Abuma that scored with Barcelona for like 6 months.
Yeah,
That is now looking like he can't do anything here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly. That's a very valid point, Olawale. It's a very valid
so,
point. Same Aubameyang that
lost
scored with Barcelona and looks like he was the best striker again in the
in the
world.
world,
It's
and
the
just
same one.
imagine now.
Is the one that is devoid of ideas at Chelsea. Because against
Chelsea.
Arsenal, Havertz had a very wonderful chance, square played the ball, and decides to shoot to throw in.
So for me,
what
the
exactly is
Havertz
happening
of
here?
this world, and I think Ziyech and Pulisic are probably not. For me, for what we think they can do, they've never really shown much of it. And for everything we might want to praise Messi Mount for, I think attacking wise is not a Madison in terms of being a playmaker.
Yeah,
He's not a
100%.
Madison. He's not probably a Foden. He's just that kind of a guy that gives you that extra body and some occasional attacking return. So for me,
someone
Chelsea is
just
in a
said
real trouble now.
someone just said even if they buy Erling Haaland, he's going to struggle in this present Chelsea setup, and it's the truth.
They
And
play
I
side to
think
side. They play side to
Not
side.
even now. This setup has been there.
Yeah,
since last season.
Kachi, I think Olale and I and Kachi, we stated this over and over last season, and it felt like we were overflogging the issue.
Mhm.
This team is devoided of creativity.
It was looking more like a beef. Like, yeah, they don't like Chelsea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's devoid of creativity.
But
And
because the results were going their way then, and that's why I tell people at times.
Olale, the result was not going their way. It was
Debo,
other
at the
results
point in
from
time.
Spurs and Arsenal that helped Chelsea last season.
No, but see, listen, this is what I'm saying. You see, there's a problem with us when we watch football at times. I think results, performance for me gives you a better insight to what a team
Insight
can
to
do.
where you stand
At
as a
times,
team.
short-term results could be last season.
Score screen.
Chris James was scoring, Ben Chilwell was scoring like 8 goals, 9 goals. I said it was not sustainable. You can't rely on your. Unfortunately, those guys are not. They are not that healthy.
The two
Both of them
are
are not
out.
that healthy.
They are out injured. It doesn't make sense. And I will refer back to what Olawale said. If you know you were going to sack Tuchel at the end of the day, you should have gotten a new manager. So the problem now, I think the rest of the bulk of the problem will rest at the feet of Todd Boehly. He's not making the right decisions. Even before we go into the team now, because right now it looks like Graham Potter is the worst coach in the history of the world, but it's not. He's the same guy that performed miracle at Brighton and Hove. It's not. I would not agree with anybody that is a bad coach all of a sudden. I wouldn't.
No, Debo, I don't think he's a bad coach, but now
he's not.
He will be.
But
But
the result is showing is the world coach in the history of the world. in the history of Chelsea. That's what the result is showing. You
But
understand
Tuchel
what I'm
left
saying?
almost the same
And,
results before.
and the nobody's going to talk about Thomas Tuchel. He's sacked already. We're going to talk about Graham Potter right now. The results and the performances are bad. Both are bad, and that's down to personnel. And the reason for the personnel is the decision of the owners.
But on the part of what do you call it, Graham Potter, I think for now he's not in Brighton. There is one thing we need to do. He either settle with a 3-5-2, a 3-5, is that 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, and get the player to play in a way that can get them results, or settle with his 4-2-3-1. He needs to pick one. He needs to settle with a
I
particular
think he's
formation and stick with it.
I think Graham Potter too is swimming in an ocean that is bigger than him anyways, because he does not understand the formation that he wants to play. But you can't even
understand? He
blame
needs
him.
to settle with one.
Anyways,
to settle with a
let's
certain
flog so
formation.
much issue on Chelsea right now. I don't take anything away from Joe Willock that scored that wonderful goal. Although I think Mendy could have done better, and if it was Kepa, that would not have been a goal. That's just my opinion. I start to be corrected. And of course, Liverpool FSG has put up the club up for sale. I said it on this show. I was castigated for it. I told you guys, Kachi and Olawale and Olayinka, I told you guys that FSG are the most useless set of people in the world. They net their spending. That's all they do. They net off their spending, get a gross income of 100 million, spend 90 million, have 10 million net, or get a gross income of 120, spend 120, and everybody thinks buy 4 players with it. I'm like, everybody thinks everything is fine. Anyways, we could potentially have a new owner for Liverpool. More problems for people in the Premier League right now, if you ask me. And to the final one, Aston Villa defeated Brighton and Hove away from home 2-1 thanks to Danny Ings brace. And Arsenal defeated Wolverhampton Wanderers, who happen to be the worst team in the league right now 2-0. But like Kachi will always say, you can only defeat the team in front of you. And we saw it with Brentford. Brentford has defeated Manchester United this season.
The two Manchester
clubs, and they play a draw against Chelsea. But when they defeated, when Arsenal defeated them, I was one of the people that said, "Okay, don't let's get ahead of ourselves." Kachi, final note before we go on the show today. Olawale, you two, do you think Arsenal can win the league?
If I start, I say yes. I'm not saying they will win the league. The question is, can they win the league?
Yeah.
I say yes, and the reason is because if what has happened in the first half of the season continues, and by that I mean their direct opponents hemorrhaging and shooting themselves in the foot, dropping points when they shouldn't drop points, and Arsenal remains consistent, winning 12 out of 14 in the first 14 games. If that continues, if that trend continues, then this is similar to how Leicester City proved all doubters wrong by going on a run and winning. 5 points is not the end of the world, but it is enough. All they need to do is build a 2-game cushion, which is 2 games against City. Pretty much saying, let's have a 6-point gap. Even if we lose the 2 matches against City and go on a run, we can still win the league. Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? No.
No. Okay. Olawale, what about you?
Can they do it? Of course, they have a chance of doing it. Considering that, like, if a team is topping the league now and they have probably the best, this is one of their best starts ever compared to
135 years.
Yeah. So if they've done so well, whatever they've done so far in the first 16 games, the problem is because Arsenal has not won the league for so many years. Whatever they achieve now, we tend to like question it. No. They've not played this team. No. They are playing this person. No. How would they do it when there is injury? Of course. I'm one of those few people that I believe they can actually win the league, even though it was very crazy from the beginning of the league. From the beginning of the season. This is the issue. Like Kachi rightly said. For me, what I've been saying is they should just take every game one after the other. Mm-hmm. This next game, the good thing I've seen from this team is this. After the United loss, the way they
Pick up,
recovered back
yeah,
easily. They didn't allow the game
yeah,
to get,
to
because
them.
that game, if you look at it, probably they were not supposed to have lost that game. Probably they have managed it better. In the previous years, that could have probably got into their head,
Spiral, spiral,
and
spiral, be a
they will have probably gone
spiral,
on like 2 or 3
down
games.
spiral,
So
when
they will,
losing
I
streak.
think, can they do it? Yes. Would they do it? Would they do it? Will depend on how ugly they can win some kind of games. There will be a point in the season where some players will be out of form. The team will
Hmm.
need to win ugly. Can they win ugly? If they can do that, of course they can win it. Because I think City will be distracted by February. I think they'll be distracted by the Champions League.
Champions League.
I think because for me, the main focus, if Guardiola doesn't win, no matter how number of titles he wins at City, if he doesn't win the Champions League, people will
There'll be a
still
question
use
mark.
that against him. They will still use it again. Even if he eventually
Definitely.
wins, they will tell you that should be spent so. But at least he needs to win it. I think I'm saying what United did in 2006, 2007 in this Arsenal team. United were not favourite to win that title. It was a team that they were rebuilding, and gradually they were maintaining that 5.6 point lead over Chelsea, Mourinho's Chelsea. It was getting to February, it was getting to March, things started getting serious, and before we knew it, they won that title. The day, I think Chelsea couldn't beat Arsenal at Emirates, and that was when.
Yeah,
So I can see something similar happening, but again, it will be tougher because there are a lot of elite teams around the top
around
half of the
them.
league now. You have like 6, 7 top teams now, unlike then when you have only 4 teams.
14.
So you probably have to consistently get the result. Arsenal will have to beat United at home. They'll probably have to get away results at Chelsea. They'll probably have to beat Spurs away too. Why they
Hmm.
maintain their consistent
Victory
victory
against the smaller teams.
against the smaller team. It's going to be tough, but I think they can do it. It's not like can they is it possible? It is possible. Can they do it? I think they can do it. Something tells me we have a different winner of the Premier League this season.
Hopefully we'll do. Hopefully we'll do for the sake of the Arsenal fans. And come to think of it, Kachi, this is the same thing that went. This is the only team since Preston, not Preston, that went a whole season unbeaten. And if this is their best start compared to the unbeaten Gunners, it goes to tell you. It goes to tell you a little bit of more fact about this team and what they they currently possess in terms of ability and mental strength. Anyways, that will be the show. My name is Raja Adebowale. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until we see you again next week, don't stop supporting sports. Bye, guys.